Okay. Okay. I think I'm ready. A bit more light. How's that? Oh, my head's missing, isn't it? My head's missing. That's good. Okay, so, good morning. So standing with your feet about the same distance as your hips or your shoulders apart, feet parallel to each other. That's better. Stand with your feet about the same distance as your hips or your shoulders apart, feet parallel to each other. So the same distance between the inside of the toes, heels, and your knees. Keep that bend in your knees the whole time. Imagine you have a long ponytail on the top of the head. Imagine this is tied up to the ceiling. So have the feeling as if you are suspended from above. Your pelvic area is tilted forwards, feels like it's hanging down from that suspension from above, hanging down plumb, and just feel it hanging down plumb, finding its level. Visualize a ball in your belly, about 3 fingers below the belly button and in the center of your body, a fist-sized ball, closer to the spine than to the front of the body. And you're taking the weight of the body down through the spine, down through that ball in the belly, down through the legs and into the ground. So you're perfectly upright. You're not leaning forwards, backwards, or to the sides. You're just taking the weight of the body down through itself. Put the mind into that ball in the belly. And just start to turn it from side to side. Turning it from side to side, which sets your waist into motion and starts to shift the weight of the body from one leg to the other leg. Turning. I'm going to move that light again. There's a side line there. That's better. Turning. And for the moment, keep yourself in the center here. So not a massive shift from leg to leg. So you have a straight line down from the top of the head down to that midpoint in between your 2 feet. Straight line down. Still, you feel a slight shift of the weight from leg to leg, but it's not a massive shift from leg to leg. Just turning on that center line. Make sure the movement is not coming from here. You're not tensing from this area to get the movement. You're moving freely through this area, like a boat floats through water. So slightly submerged, but floating across the surface freely. You're feeling the shock absorbing properties of your legs, so you're not locking the legs out. You're sinking down. As you sink down to that supporting leg or more into that supporting leg, or I haven't muted you, have I? I haven't muted you. So as you sink down to that supporting leg, the knee goes forwards ever so slightly, the hip goes backwards in response to the weight of the body. Feel this rotating of the bones as they become more weight-bearing. Turning. Really let go of control of the arms to the shoulders. Your arms are only moving because of this centripetal force coming out from your center. So the faster you turn the waist, the higher your arms will go. Turning. And then we can start to shift more from leg to leg and let the heel follow the sideways movement of the body. So again, feel the bones as they become more weight-bearing, feel them rotating, feel a nice even rotation all the way up through the body. So you're not putting excessive amount of stress on any individual joints or any individual bones, a nice even rotation. Feel the body responding as it should to gravity, these movements, and the ground underneath your feet. You want to be nice, you want to be really natural, which it sounds easy, but I know in my personal experience it is quite difficult, and from my teaching it's quite difficult to just be natural. Life kind of shapes us, and we have habitual tensions that really affect our natural movement. We are kind of Taoism is the philosophy behind Tai Chi. Taoism, some people use it as a religion, but I just follow the philosophy side of it. In Taoism, they say, and in Tai Chi, we try to get back what's called the uncarved block. That naturalness how we came into the world before life chipped away at us, shaped us into the shape we are now. To get back to that naturalness, that pliability we had when we were a child. So that natural, just let the body respond to gravity, the movement, and the ground underneath your feet. Feel the natural shock-absorbing properties of the connective tissue, which you can't feel if you are holding onto that habitual tension in the body. So let go. Just let the body respond to your environment. Then make the hands into hollow fists. Bring the hands up in front of you. So the heel's still coming off the ground. Not as much as it was in the previous exercise because we're not turning the waist as much, but the heel's still coming off the ground. Feel yourself rolling from the toes towards the heel, then from the heel towards the toe, and pumping out, activating that pump of the connective tissue along the soles of the feet, the plantar fascia. send that pump up through the body and out to the fists. So make sure it's not going out through the chest or out through the ribs or getting stuck in the curvature of the lower back. Just sending it up and out to the fists. Up and out to the fists. Like a horse rearing up onto its hind quarters. Its front legs and hoofs in the air, its mane fluttering in the wind, standing tall, confident, proud. We know it's not egotistical pride, it's that pride of a good self-esteem, a good sense of self-worth. Standing tall. And opening the hands and bringing or throwing one hand over the shoulder, the other hand onto the lower back. One hand onto the shoulder, the other hand onto the lower back. Okay, then just let this settle down on its own. Let's turn that in a little bit. Light source on the camera. Okay, so bring your heels together. If the feet were on the face of the clock, left foot will be pointing somewhere between 10 and 11, right foot somewhere between 1 and 2. Arms relaxed down by your side. You can touch the middle fingers to your thighs here, but make sure you're keeping a small gap underneath each armpit. At least let the air be able to get to your armpits. I want you to lift the toes off the ground. Lifting the toes off the ground and dumping all the weight into the heels. Sitting down like you're sitting down onto a high stool. Make sure the structure's not buckling, the ribs aren't flaring out, the lower back isn't curving in. And lower the toes down. Still have more weight towards the rear of the feet. You have those two triangles, the triangle from the ankle to the heel to the balls of the feet, from the ankle to the balls of the feet to the toes. Have about 70% of it going down through the triangles at the rear of the feet. 30 through the front, softening the insteps. Head as if suspended from above then. If you can keep your balance and you feel comfortable, I want you to close your beautiful eyes. Closing your beautiful eyes. If you really have trouble standing and balancing with your eyes closed, you can do that visualization as if you're looking into the distance. Way, way, way beyond where you're standing. You can imagine you looking into the clouds, into the sky behind me, watching birds flying near those distant clouds. You can imagine you're looking deep into a forest, trying to catch a glimpse of a beautiful, rare and shy creature. You can imagine you're looking across the expanse of a great river or lake. That is, you're not being distracted by anything you see around you. You're not being distracted by anything you're taking in through your senses. You're not trying to block your senses out. We are closing our eyes here, but you're not trying to block your senses out. You're just not thinking about anything you're taking in through them. You're aware of everything, you're not thinking about it. Head as if suspended from above. Then I want you to relax all of your face muscles. Relax the muscles behind and around your eyes. And your eyes, if you do have them closed, they're not tightly closed. They're closed so you can't make any shapes or images from your surroundings out, but open enough so you can let a little bit of light in. And you're breathing in through your nose, if you can, of course. Gently touching the tip of the tongue to the top of the mouth, just behind your front teeth. Your teeth are together, but they're not clenched. The same with your lips. Gently tucking your chin in, not up or down, in. Have the feeling, keep your jaw parallel to the floor, but have the feeling here as if somebody's pulling on your ears or your neck back against the collar of a shirt. And with the jaw parallel to the floor and that pulling back, you feel the 7 vertebrae of the cervical region of the spine lengthening. You feel the skull being pulled back and lifting up off the spine, but you're not stretching your neck. Your neck is really nice and relaxed. Really feel yourself opening that gate at the base of the skull, the top of the spine, the jade pillow gate. Really feel like the head is floating on the neck like a boat floats on water. So this is dang dang or jam jam, standing off the post, standing like an unmoving post in the wind. And that's not standing in rigidity. We're trying to be as still, balanced, and as relaxed as we can be here. So you're standing upright, but you're not standing upright with rigid tension like if you were guarding a palace or something. You want to get a perfect balance, a perfect tensegrity, and hold that in perfect stillness. Stillness in body and stillness in mind. Stilling the body is pretty hard. It's not until you try to be still and upright like we are here that you notice how much movement there is happening inside the body. All the neurons whizzing around the inside of the body, the sensory motor neurons whizzing around the inside of the body, your proprioceptors around the body sending those sensory neurons to the cerebellum part of the brain telling you how the body is balanced. And in turn, the cerebellum sending out those motor neurons, telling the muscles to fire or to relax to maintain your balance. You want to try and find a perfect balance between those sensory and motor neurons. Get perfect stillness. You want to have stillness of your mind as well, which is even harder than stilling the body. It's estimated that the average person has between 40 and 50,000 thoughts every day. That's a lot of thinking. That's the average person. So some people think even more than that. That's a lot of thinking and overthinking. So we're trying to still the mind. And there are aspects of the mind that don't like this stillness, aspects of the mind that feed off of that very busy mind and the busy body. And they are little parts of the mind, but they shout really, really, really loud, and they want more thinking, more fidgeting. And they're never satisfied. It's an insatiable hunger for more. So don't follow those little aspects of the mind. Don't follow their need to think, telling you to think about this, think about that, worry about this, worry about that, want this, want that. Don't follow those thoughts. Just bring yourself back to your body in stillness, balance, and relaxation. And take a breath in through your nose to your lower abdomen. And as you exhale, feel your shoulders releasing, relaxing with the out breath. Really let go of any tension in the shoulders. Feel the arms, the weight of the arms pulling the shoulders down and ever so slightly forwards. Send your awareness out to the tips of the fingers, and remember to keep that small gap underneath each armpit. At least let the air get to your armpits. You have a hollow underneath each collarbone called the shoulder's nest. Take a breath in through your nose to your lower abdomen, and as you exhale, feel those nests relaxing, releasing. Feel the chest muscles relax, release. The ribs relax and release, and all sinking down into your belly. Just let your belly hang out. Let the belly hang out. Take another breath in through your nose to your lower abdomen. This time as you exhale, feel your chest sinking. Feel your upper back naturally rounding. Really feel the shoulder blades spreading out to the sides and ever so slightly down, really rounding your upper back and opening up that gate in between the shoulder blades, the spirit gate. Really feel that nerve plexus in between your shoulder blades opening, loosening, relaxing, releasing, dissolving. Make sure you're not flaring your floating ribs out, the bottom of the ribs out. So sink your ribs to fill your lower back. Breathe into your belly, relax the bottom of your back. Tilting the pelvic area ever so slightly forwards, or tucking the sacrum under. So the coccyx, the tailbone, the bottom bones of the spine, push and point down towards the floor. That takes the curvature out of the lower back and really opens up that gate in the small of the back, the mong men, the gate of your fate. So you've opened up those 3 gates up your back. Without using muscles here, just using your intent. Feel the spine lifting up inside the body. The skull being pulled back by the ears and lifting up off the spine. Keeping that feeling. At the same time, feel the face muscles sinking down, the shoulders nest, the chest, the ribs all sinking down, and push the bottom bone of your spine towards the floor, forwards and ever so slightly up. And again, do all this with your mind, your intent. You're not tensing muscles to get this lengthening, this alignment of your spine. You're thinking this lengthening, this alignment of the spine, the neutral spine. So you're tilting your pelvic area ever so slightly forwards, but it feels like it's hanging down from that suspension from above. And where the top of the legs meet the buttocks, you have that groove, the gluteal sulcus. Feel yourself sitting down onto there. Like you're sitting down onto a high stool. Bend the knees. You can again lift your toes off the ground to drop the weight into the heels. Make sure the structure isn't buckling. Make sure the lower back isn't curving in, the ribs aren't flaring out. And sit further down, like sitting down onto a stool, and lower the toes down. Really engaging your core, your deep frontal line. So Zhangzang, standing off the post, standing like an unmoving post in the wind. Standing in stillness. But again, it's not rigid stillness. If the body starts to move, don't tense the body to try and stop the body from moving. Just try to get back to your center. Bring yourself back to your center. And again, if the mind starts to wander away from what you're doing here, you start to wander away into thinking about the future or thinking about the past. Just remind yourself that you set this time aside for doing this. Don't get annoyed at yourself if your mind wanders. That's very counterproductive. That's just feeding those aspects of the mind that like that worry, that annoyance, those negative emotions. So don't get annoyed, just bring yourself back. I kind of smile to myself internally and just say, I'm not doing that. I'm not thinking that, I'm doing this. And just keep bringing myself back. And it doesn't matter how many times you bring yourself back. It's that practice of bringing yourself back to the moment that we get the benefits from. Your pelvic area is tilted forwards, but it feels like it's hanging down from that suspension from above. So relaxing the hips, the buttocks, the pelvic floor, the perineum, the thighs. Soften your knees, do a real mental loosening of your knees. Relax your shins, your calves. Loosen your ankles, relax your feet flat on the floor. So you're not gripping the floor with your toes. The weight's not, it's not all the way back in the heels. It's not on the insides or the outsides of your feet. Without changing your posture or using any more muscle, breathing in, feel the whole of your skeleton lifting up inside the body. Feel all the spaces, all the joints in between the bones opening up and filling, flushing with that fluid that lubricates your joints. Feel the bones floating on that fluid. That feeling as if you are floating in water, supported on all sides by water. Breathing in, feel that lifting inside your body and keep that feeling, that intent. And as you breathe out from the top of your head, all the way down to the soles of your feet, just feel the whole body relaxing down. Feel any tensions, any stresses, any worries still inside the body. Feel them draining down through the body and visualize them going out through the soles of the feet into the ground. You can imagine you bury them 2 or 3 feet into the ground or turn them into bright white light. Just let them go. You don't need or want those tensions, those stresses, so just let them go. When you're ready, I want you to open your eyes and reconnect visually with your surroundings. Step out into a shoulder width stance. Just move your body. Move your body. Move your body. Okay, so stand with your feet about the same distance as your hips and your shoulders, but feet parallel to each other. Arms up at the sides of the body. Then just turn your waist to your right, drop your arms down, left hand in front of your right hand behind you. Throw your arms up, turn your waist to your left, right hand in front of your left hand behind you, up and down, up and down, up and down. So just loosening up and down. Just bouncing your arms up, sinking down with that supporting leg. Make sure the knee stays in line with the toes. Have more weight towards the rear of the foot, that 70-30 weight distribution between the 2 triangles of the feet. Feel yourself rolling between those 2 triangles, activating that pump, and just feel yourself flicking your arms up. They go as high as they're gonna go, they reach their apex, and gravity starts to bring them down. And you just steer that downward, that descent down with the waist and that ball in the belly. Use it to flick one hand up in front of you, and the other hand up behind you. Nice and relaxed. Just loosening up. Okay, so I thought we'd do something a little bit different this morning. We've been working a lot on the animals frolic, so I thought we'd do something a little bit different this morning. I thought we'd work on the 5 directions we have in Tai Chi. The 5 directions are forwards, backwards, left and right, and in the center. The center is Zongding, central equilibrium, which is classed as direction in Tai Chi. I thought we'd work on these directions and work on the different ways of moving the upper body. So we'll work on those 5 directions, or we're going to work on 8 or 9 directions, really, because we're going to turn that plus symbol, that forwards, backwards to the side. But we'll get into that. So bringing ourselves to our center. And we always return to the center. So just how we've just done the standing in the center here, and we're going to step forwards here. In Tai Chi, we tend to step with the left foot leading first, because the majority of people on the planet are right-handed, so they will do everything first with the right side of the body. So we're just trying to bring the body into balance. So we're just going to step forwards with the left foot and bring the right foot up to the left foot and step back to our center. Then we're going to step back and back to our center. Then I'm going to go to my left here. You can mirror me here, or you can go to your left here. Okay, go to the left and back to the center, and to the right and back to the center. Okay, simple enough. Just the 5 directions: forwards, backwards, left and right, and our central equilibrium, our Zongding. Okay, so let's keep walking this. Simple enough. So I'm going to my left first, and then to the right. And we're not taking big steps here. We're kind of shuffling with the feet, shuffling with the feet. And make sure you're not leading with your head, you're not leading with your shoulders, you're not leading with your hips. You're leading with that ball in the belly. You're really feeling the compression. So you're sinking down and pushing out, sinking down and pushing out, and always bringing the foot up. So sinking down and bouncing out the legs. So just feel the body responding to gravity, the ground underneath your feet, and these movements. Just reacting naturally. Make sure the knees stay in line with the toes. Just feel the body responding, compressing. So it's not rigid. It's not rigid. It's not big steps. It's just sinking down and bouncing out. Just let the body relax. It's if rolling, when stepping backwards, rolling to the foot, toe to heel. And going forwards, rolling to the foot, heel to toe. And going to the sides, kind of rolling. And going to the sides, you push off of the outside of the foot. And roll through the other side of the foot. Keeping nice and relaxed, keeping nice and upright, as if suspended from above. Pelvic area hanging down plumb from that suspension from above. So these 5 directions. Okay, so now take your plus symbol and turn it to the side ever so slightly. So now you have an X. X marks the spot, multiplication symbol. And we're going to walk these 5 directions now, because again, the center is classed as a direction. It's our zongting. So I'm going to go to my front left prong first. So I'm sinking into my right leg, and I just step out, right, and back to the center, and to the rear right diagonal, back to the center, to the front right diagonal, back to the center, to the rear left diagonal, back to the center. Just walking these 5 directions. Walking these 5 directions. And again, you're not taking big steps. It's shuffling, sinking down, and the body compress against the ground. When the body compressing itself against the ground, then just releasing or allowing that compression to release. And using that release of energy to move you from leg to leg. The minimal amount of muscular effort. You know, our ancient ancestors, when they walking around on the African plains, I believe in evolution, the evolution of our species. When our Homo sapien ancestors 200,000 years ago were walking around on the plains, hunting and gathering, looking for food. They didn't have all the nutrition we have nowadays. They didn't have as much energy as we can get from our foods. So they had to conserve energy. So this would have been a way of locomotion from them, really using their bodies, utilizing their bodies in this upright bipedal position. Feel your body responding to the environment, shock absorbing, and then riding that, or utilizing that absorption, that compression from the shock absorption. Utilizing that to give you locomotion here. You ever seen I like documentaries. Documentaries are Australia, so kangaroos and how they move. They really use the elasticity of their connective tissue against their bones. You see them when they're bouncing. It's not tensing muscles and bouncing, it's just that compression, the weight of the body compressing and releasing. So really feel that, which if you are rigidly tense here, you won't be able to feel the elasticity of the connective tissue. So relax. Okay, we'll come back to that. Okay, so we're going to do the different ways of moving the upper body now, using the legs. So we have 3 major ways of moving the upper body. We're going to do them in this stance, and we're going to do them in a bow stance as well, a gung bu stance. So stand with your feet about the same distance as your hips or your shoulders apart, feet parallel to each other. The first way of moving the upper body. So imagine your upper body is like a cylinder, like a fire hydrant or like a tin of beans, and you're just going to move the upper body using your legs. So the first one is just up and down, up and down. Sitting down, so you're not flaring your ribs out here, you're not curving in the lower back, you're not sticking your bum out. The knees are staying in line with the toes, just moving the upper body. Moving the upper body. Moving the upper body. So it's like the old fashioned copper, the hello. Up and down. Feel yourself activating that pump of the connective tissue along the soles of the feet. Feel that roll from the heel towards the toes, and then from the toes towards the heel, straight up and straight down. Just moving the upper body, just pushing it up, lowering it down, compressing and pushing up. Up and down. And we're just in the center here. Just in the center. You have that center line down from the top of the head down to that midpoint in between your 2 feet. Okay, so drop the weight onto your left leg. And with these, I know some of you do have some injuries. Make sure you're working towards your capabilities. You shouldn't have pain here. You know the difference between an ache you get from exercise and the pain you get from putting unnecessary pressure onto the body here. So work to your capabilities. Again, just going up and down. So you pretty much have if you can, pretty much have a straight line down from the earlobe down through the center of the foot. Up and down. Again, make sure the structure is not buckling. The ribs aren't flaring out, the lower back isn't curving, and you're not sticking the chest out, the head's not hanging forward. Straight up and straight down. Straight up and straight down. Activating that pump on the soles of the feet. Feeling this compression and expansion, this lengthening and contraction. Drop the weight onto the other leg. Down, knee in line with the toes, sitting down, knee goes forwards, hip goes backwards, straight line down from the earlobe down through the center of the foot. Sink the ribs to fill the back, up and down. And make sure you are truly engaged in what you're doing here. I know when we do it's not simple movement here. It looks simple, but it's not until when you really engage in it, you realize how much is going on inside here. So make sure your mind isn't wandering away. You're not just dropping into thinking, planning what you'll be doing after here. Make sure you are truly engaged. Bring yourself into the moment, into the zone, into the flow of what we're doing here. And again, those little aspects of the moment. So, this is boring. Get on with the more interesting stuff, okay? If you do kind of start to believe that it is boring, then you're just feeding that little aspect of the mind that wants more and more and more and more and more. Consume. Don't follow those thoughts. Just really engage, really work on your interior section, your inner feeling of the working of the body. Bring yourself to the center, what we call tinging, internal tinging, listening energy, sensing energy in Tai Chi. Okay, so we have up and down there. Now we have side to side, side to side. So you're not really bobbing up and down. We've already done that. So you're just moving freely through this area here. So this is one of the areas where we do hold on to a lot of tension, habitual tension. These can be tensions from decades and decades ago. I know some psychologists say that we hold on to habitual tension from childhood traumas in this area. Things that we don't even remember anymore. We're still holding on to that habitual tension that really affects our movement, our connectivity, our posture. So really feel yourself floating through this area like a boat floats through water. So slightly submerged, but floating across the surface freely. Side to side, and then we have rotation. So again, in the center, straight line down from the top of the head to that midpoint in between your 2 feet. Rotating. So just rotating that cylinder. Relaxing this area. We are engaging all the muscles around here, but not excessively tensing from there. So moving from that ball in the belly, feel the weight of the body, compressing the legs against the ground. And use that ball in the belly to release that compression, or to steer the release of that compression. Use that to give you this rotational movement. Opening, relaxing the hips, relaxing the buttocks. Make sure the ribs aren't flaring out, the lower back isn't curving in. Okay, drop the weight onto the left leg, rotating. Really make sure the knee stays on the toes. Feel yourself rolling between those two triangles. Keep the hips level with the floor, parallel to the floor. So we're not doing this, it's not this. Nice and level. Turning. Really feel inside this area, really working on your interior or your introception, that inner feeling of the working of the body. Really feel how the body works, how the body connects, which if your mind is scattered away from what we're doing here, then you really find it hard to feel inside the body. This is a skill that really needs to be developed. Interioception or introception, I believe, should be classed as a sense, like the other 5 recognized senses. There's more than 5 senses. Lots of different senses, but there's only 5 recognized ones, what people refer to. Okay, onto the other leg, rotating. Interoception is one of those senses, I believe. Head up, you can imagine you're balancing a bowl of water on the top of the head. Feel the rib cage hanging down like a bell. Just rotating. Really feel inside this joint, this rotator cuff. you're not just tensing from there. Moving freely through the joints of the legs. Okay. Up and down, side to side, and rotation. They give you all the ease of moving the upper body. Okay, so feet hip distance, shoulders apart, parallel to each other. Drop the weight of the body onto your left leg. Turn the right toes out to the side. Roll and step forwards. You can step forwards and in ever so slightly if you want to here, or you can maintain your feet shoulder apart. I'm going to go a little bit narrow. I'm going to narrow this a little bit, but not so. If I was to bring my front foot back, it wouldn't bang on the heel of that rear foot, so it would come straight back. I'll give you a side view here. Okay, so get yourself in the center again. So in Tai Chi, it's classed as a fault to have the same amount of weight on each leg. It's classed as the fault of double weightedness. So make sure one leg is substantial, one leg is insubstantial. So you can have 51% of the weight on the rear leg, 49% of the weight on the front leg. So yang and yin. You're just going to go up and down. Keep yourself in the center. Be nice and upright. Just moving that cylinder up and down. Feel as if suspended from above. You feel as if somebody's pulling on that ponytail, that golden thread on the top of the head. Pulling up and lowering down. Make sure the bum isn't sticking out, the ribs aren't flaring out, the back isn't curving in. Just moving this, not sticking the chest out, just moving this cylinder up and down. And on the rear leg, up and down, up and down. On the front leg, up and down. Make sure the bum isn't sticking out. Really watch your structure here. That pump of the connective tissue along the soles of the feet, keep the knee in line with the toes. Keeping mind engaged in what you're doing here. Not wandering away with your mind into thinking and overthinking, planning and plotting or scheming. Bring yourself back. Really get the benefits from the meditative aspects of what we're doing here. Okay? Forwards and backwards. Forwards and backwards. So the front knee goes forwards in line with the toes, no further forward than the toes. Sacrum tucked under, tailbone points towards the floor, goes no further back than the center of the calf muscle. We're not bobbing up and down here. Just forwards and backwards here. We've already done the up and down. So really floating through this area again. If you're holding a lot of habitual tension in this area, you'll tend to have to go up and over that tension or underneath that tension. Through. So relax in this area. So this area hanging down. Imagine this area is like a bowl of water. Full to the brim. You don't just spill any of that water out of that bowl. So you're not leaning. Okay, then we have rotation. So bring yourself into the center again, 51 to 49%. Rotating. Watch that structure. Make sure you're not flaring the ribs out. You're not sticking the chest out. You're not curving in the lower back. Rotating. You're not bobbing up and down here, just moving, rotating here. So really relax in this area. It hanging down, rotating. In the rear leg, rotating. So we're not bobbing up and down here. There is ever such a slight up and downward movement, but make sure it's not really exaggerated. Try and stay as level as you can here. And if you are holding a lot of habitual tension in here, you will tend to go up. In the front leg, rotating. Okay, and then change feet. So I have the other foot forward. I'll just turn around here, but you can just change feet. So you have your right foot forward now, is it? Right foot forward. Okay, so we have in the center, 51 to 49, or you can have 51 to 49. Just have up and down. Up and down, nice and upright. Head as if suspended from a pelvic area tilt forwards, hanging down. Up and down. Up and down. Feel the compression of the legs. Up and down. In the rear leg. Up and down. Feel the pump of that connective tissue along the soles of the feet. Rolling down the middle of the feet. Softening the instep. Up and down. Up and down. In the front leg. Really feel that all the muscles engage, all the muscles that need to engaging just enough against the bones to give them stability. Forwards and backwards, rolling through this area. knee, front knee in line with the toes, no further forward than the toes, or both knees in line with the toes, front knee, no further forward than the toes, sacrum tucked under, tailbone points towards the floor, no further back than the center of the calves. Freely through this area. Ready? Put your mind to this area, feel this area opening, loosening, relaxing, releasing any tension, dissolving. Let it go. This area balanced like a bowl of water, or like a bowl of fruit piled high with fruit. You don't want to tip any of that fruit out. In the center, 49 to 51 or 51 to 49, rotate. Rotate. Really engaged in what you're doing here. Feel how your body works. Feel the connectivity of your body. Again, if that's a little part of the mind telling you, oh God, it's a bit boring, this is, hey, you are really missing that trick. It's that trick to really connect deeper with the inner workings of your body and find any of that habitual tension you're holding on to and help to release it, dissolve it. Bring the body back to that, for better tensegrity, better connectivity. In the rear leg. So then we're not going up and down here, we're just moving. We're staying on this same level here. Moving that cylinder with the legs, moving the cylinder, rotating. And the front leg, this is pretty much empty stance. Front leg rotating. Make sure the structure is not buckling. Feel yourself neutralizing the weight of your body down. So you have to have an understanding of the connectivity, the alignment of your body to neutralize down, to sink down. So neutralizing is called jaging in Tai Chi, neutralizing energy. That tinging, that awareness, that listening, that feeling of the inner workings of the body. Sensing the energy. Understanding it, that's called dongjing. And then this release of the energy is called fajing. Releasing the energy, fajing, issuing energy. And we put all those together and we have all the ways of moving the upper body, all the way of moving the upper body, all the ways of moving the upper body. Okay? Back to our center. So we're going to walk our 9 directions again, the plus and the X. So stood in the center, step forward to the left foot. And back to our center. Step back and back to our center. I'm going to go to my left, to your left, or you can mirror me here, and to the right. Just walk in this plus symbol. So it should feel a little bit different after doing the 3 ways of moving the upper body, moving the torso with the legs. Feel that sinking down, that release. And let's bring the X into it now. So I'm going to my front left prong first. It's my rear right. My front right. To my rear left. Bring the plus back into it, so forwards. So it's like you're walking a Union flag now, a Union Jack. You walk the George Cross, and then do the Cross of St. Andrews. Walk in these 9 directions, because again, the center is classed as a direction, our Zhongding. Shuffling, just let the body react, respond to the environment. Rolling heel to toe, toe to heel down the middle of the feet. Feel connected in what you're doing. Don't let your mind wander. Don't feed those little parts of the mind that shout really, really loud and let you believe that they are you. They are so much more than that. Bring yourselves into the here and the now. And open up the heart mind, the mind of the moment. The only place we can truly be. Okay, back to the center. Feet shoulder width. Let the hands over the belly. Ladies, left hand on top. Gentlemen have the right hand on top. You point in the very center of the hands to that ball in the belly. Hands neither touching each other or touching the waist. Head up. Close your eyes. And just let your mind, your awareness, your thoughts, your intention, everything settle into that area about 3 fingers below the belly button and in the center of the body, your center of gravity, the center of your universe, the Dantian, the field of the elixir of immortality. So let your mind settle in there. Any saliva that is poured in your mouth, swallow that saliva down. Just feel it dropping straight down into that ball in the belly. Feel the ground underneath your feet. Feel supported by the world, supported by the earth. Perfectly upright. Mind, thoughts, awareness, breath, settle into that area about 3 fingers below the belly button and in the center of your body. Bring the hands to rest over that area. Take the thumb from the outside hand and touch the very center of the inside hand. Breathing in, pull your belly towards the back and tense your buttocks. Pull the hands over your hips. Breathing out, relax the buttocks, relax the belly. Rub the hands down the hips, down your thighs. Open your beautiful eyes. Rub hands. Rub neck. Shoulders. Belly. Lower back. Buttocks, inguinal crease, thighs, knees, shins and calves. You can get down their ankles. Anywhere you feel might need some special attention, give it a bit of a rub. And that is what I have for you for today. Yeah, so a little bit different. Yeah, I fancy doing something different. We've done a lot of the animals, so I just fancy doing something different. So if you do have any questions, any insights, you're going to need to turn your camera or your microphone on.
I could do that every morning if I could remember how to do it.
It's good, yeah?
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good for my hip. Yeah. I can feel it being very good for my hip. Yeah. There's little movement. I'll try tomorrow. I'll try tomorrow morning, but I'll forget what it all is.
Well, I have done a film on it. I did a film at the weekend on that. It's on my YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. I'll have a look at that then.
Yeah, I can. I've still got all your email addresses. I can send it to you, or you can just find. You know, you've been to my YouTube, haven't you?
Yeah. I will have a look for it. That's good. Yes, I'll try that. Oh, I enjoyed that.
I haven't got the same background. That's my theme for this week. So those exercises.
I like the background. I like to see a horizon.
I was teaching a learning disabilities class yesterday, and one of the guys who's got autism came in and he went, "I like the Wizard of Oz. I like the Wizard of Oz." And I went, Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, so I think I've said enough, haven't I? I'm going to go and deliver some food parcels now. So drink water, please. Drink water. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be here next week. We might have a go at doing that again next week, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, remind me how to do it, yeah.
Okay, so we'll do the bad etiquette Zoom wave.
Yeah.
And I will see you guys next week. Well done. Have a good day. Have a good week.
Bye.
I'll see you later. Bye.